Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're just seeing my face for the very first time, hi, welcome. My name is Adora and you're watching Life with Ada Beke. Please be sure to like, share, comment, let other people know that someone like me exists on the internet, okay? So that you can share the goodness with everyone, okay? Yes, please. And if you're one of my OGs, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for continuously supporting me and watching this channel and just, just living it up, okay? Thank you so much. Please, if I have impacted you in any way, please be sure to, support me by super chatting or super thanking, I guess, using the super chat function or the super thanks function and just showing me some love. Doing some of that actually does help me with putting out more content and just motivating me just in general, okay? But let's get on to the issue of today. I have a friend who recently moved from Nigeria to the US, and I decided that I wanted to do a moving abroad series, particularly moving to the US because that's where I've moved. And it was interesting because I moved to the US 8 years ago and there were some struggles that I didn't particularly have, and I noticed that she did have them. And I felt like, oh, if she had someone who had told her some very simple things, she wouldn't have had those struggles. You understand? So it made me realize, a lot of Nigerians, we did japa. That's just the issue. That's just the truth. And as more people are moving abroad, especially to the US, Canada, the UK, everywhere that people are moving to, there are some things that you should be aware of when you're coming. There are some things that don't work the same way as they do in Nigeria or work slightly differently that you might just, and you don't want to come here and feel like you're trapped or feel like, if I had known, I won't have done X, Y, Z. So I want to come on here and arm you with some information. So today's episode, I'm specifically going to be talking about housing. So I'm going to also talk about some other things, but today's one is housing in particular. I'm going to try and make this a series so that, today will be housing, tomorrow another one, that kind of thing. So as usual, I have my trusted notebook here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at, because I have. First thing when it comes to housing is that you have to decide, do I want to stay on campus or do I want to stay off campus? So I think if you're coming as an undergraduate, I think it's best to stay on campus. If you think about it, the most undergraduates are around 17, 18. It's just much more difficult for you to kind of try to find an off-campus accommodation. So if your school offers on-campus accommodation, take it. It's also a good opportunity to find friends, mingle. Most people live on campus in their first year. So if you're an undergraduate, I highly recommend just going with the on-campus accommodation option, okay? However, if you're a grad student, your school may or may not offer grad housing. If they do, consider it. For me, I was like, no, because I had already been here. I kind of understood the system. If they do offer grad housing, consider it. Sometimes grad housing is much more expensive than if you try to find off-campus accommodation. So I do understand if grad housing is just out of your budget. But if that works for you, I think you should go ahead with grad housing because it does simplify things. It makes things a lot more easier. But if you decide that you want to live off campus, most of these tips are going to be very, very helpful. The first is you want to use the zip code of where your school is to search. Right? So what happens is that, let me use Nigeria for example. We don't really have zip codes. So we just know, oh, this place is near this place. Okay, I live in Guarimpa, so I'm going to just be looking for houses around Guarimpa. But in America now, that Guarimpa can have 3 different zip codes and 3 different, it can be very much spread out. So I suggest either asking your department, or whoever, maybe your admissions advisor, okay, where are common areas, where are common towns or cities or zip codes that students live around. Because what you'll find is that those places are probably places who have like a bus route. They have like certain things that make it very, very student friendly. So ask them about those zip codes. Those zip codes will also help you in when you're searching for housing. Because when you go on a lot of these like apartment finders, Zillow, all these things, it's easy to put a zip code in, and then they will bring up like, you know, available apartments based on that zip code. So you want to be very, very sure where your apartment is. Let me give you a story. Like me, when I moved to St. Louis for my master's, I thought my campus was on the main campus. So when I was finding housing, I found housing close to the main campus. It turned out my campus was on the medical campus. It wasn't too bad. It ended up being like 10 minutes away. But like, I had a car, so it was helpful for me. But imagine if I didn't have a car, like any transportation, because I was trying to be as close to campus as possible. So imagine like, so I didn't really ask questions about like zip code. Oh, where exactly is this campus? No, you know, where is this school itself? Like, you want to be very sure, like, where are most of my classes going to be taking place? If you end up going to a school that has like multiple different campuses, you want to be very, very sure what campus that is, so that maybe a school has like 3 different campuses that are spread across the city. Your own is one, but you live near another one. It's going to be such a mess for you. You regret. Another one is that this one, it's very important when it comes to renting, is that most apartments in the US, or even like houses or whatever, most people you rent, where you rent a place, are going to ask you for a security deposit or a guarantor. So if you have someone in the US who has good credit, they could be able to stand for you as a guarantor. Then that means that you either pay a lower deposit, or you might not even need to pay any deposit at all. Or especially as an international student, because they don't know you. If you're coming new, you don't have credit, you might not even have a bank account, they don't know you. So they might ask you to put up 2 times the security deposit, because as you're an international student, like because of that risk of running away. The thing about security deposits versus security in, at least in the US, versus security deposits in Nigeria, is that security deposits in the US are returnable when you leave. In Nigeria, they are not. Once they've taken it, they're taking it. But security deposits are, they refund it as long as you not damage anything or whatever. But you want to know that when you're looking for an apartment, if you don't have a guarantor, like let's say the apartment you found is like $800, it's not just $800 that you need to hold. You need to hold $800, and you need to hold security deposit, whatever it might be. That threw my friend off guard. Like, she didn't realize that she needed the security, but luckily for her, she had a guarantor who was able. Another thing, you really want to consider safety. This is where I would suggest talking to students who live there. There are places they probably avoid. I lived in St. Louis, and St. Louis has the bad parts of St. Louis and the good parts of St. Louis. That's just the truth of it. And most big cities are like that. Like, they're going to have the places that like you don't want to be in, you don't want to be caught there. So, and if you're new, you don't know. You don't know where these places are. So ask questions. Like, ask very, very specifically, like, okay, has there ever been a shoot? It sounds funny now. Has anybody been shot near here? Like, has there, you know, like, what is the robbery rate like? This somewhere that you can walk around in the night. Like, the US has a little bit, there are a few problems, like, you know, guns and safety is an issue. Like, you don't want to be sleeping and be hearing pa 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 pa. At least I don't. So like, you want to ask questions, and sometimes, like, you as an international student, like, you see cheap rent. Oh, this place is $500 a month, $400 a month. You don't know that $400 comes with a slight, you know. You don't know that that's part of what you're paying for. Like, so ask questions, like, ask questions about safety, like, what is this place? And then if you don't even have who to ask, you can even like search it up, Google it, like, you can even look up on Facebook. You know, people talk, people ask, you know, people always share. So look it up on the internet, and you'll find what's going on about that area, that, or that apartment complex or something that you're looking at. Thing is, you want to consider a place that is already furnished. As an international student, it's really, really a lot to come into the country for the first time, and then you have to start buying furniture. Like, I can't even imagine it. That sounds like so much stress. So there are places that come fully furnished with, you know, utilities included. Consider those places. They might be slightly expensive, but think about it. By the time you start buying your own furniture, it will still add up to. By the time you're paying your utilities, it will add up to as well. So I really advise that you consider places that already come fully furnished, that already have utilities included, you know, those kind of places. it will save you time, it will save you stress. Like, just imagine all you need to do is just come in with your boxes and move in. You're ready. You don't need to start worrying, where will I buy bed, where will I buy this, where will I buy that. Like, it will give you time. Even if maybe the next year or something you want to move, but at least that initial time you came, you came in and you were settled. It really gives one kind peace of mind that, oh, I don't have to bother about certain things. Then another thing is roommate matching. A lot of off-campus housing that is near universities will do roommate matching, because those schools, because those apartments cater to students. They know that, oh, I might not have 3 friends for all of us to live together. So what they will do is they might ask you to fill out a questionnaire, and, oh, what kind of person are you? Are you a night sleeper? Are you a that? And then they'll match you. Maybe they'll pair you, or they'll triple you guys with people who are similar. Sometimes roommate matching works, sometimes it doesn't. But usually a lot of those places will allow you to switch rooms or something if something goes wrong between you and your roommate. But consider places like that, because if you maybe find a place that is a good deal, but it's a 2-bedroom, but you don't know another person that's going to take up that room, that could be quite stressful, and it makes you to start looking up like some shady people. But when you're already going to an apartment that has like roommate matching, like, a lot of those times you're not responsible for that person's rent, right? Like, if that person doesn't pay, then as in they usually rent by the room, versus if I had to take up a 2-bedroom with another person, I don't know how that person's credit worthiness. I might take up a place where I'm paying my rent, that person is not paying their rent, and all that kind of thing. But when you're taking up, you know that it's by room, as long as I'm paying my rent, whatever you're doing with yourself, you're doing with yourself. You understand? So a lot of those places, I really highly recommend it. Last but not least, talk to your international student office if you ever have any questions or anything, and also look up student Facebook groups that get towards housing. A lot of schools will have like the school name, like, maybe, let me use my school for example, like Stony Brook housing group, that kind of thing. And there are people who are looking for roommates, who are moving out, who are selling furniture, who are doing all manner of things regarding housing. So I encourage you to join those kind of Facebook groups, ask questions, try and figure out like what is a scam, what isn't, because like some things that might be clearly a scam, but because you're new, it might not like seem like a scam to you. So when you join those groups, like, people share information, people are looking for roommate, you might be able to find people who align with you, maybe even people in your program who are also looking for people, places to live and people to live with. So I really hope that this let's say episode of this series was interesting to you. I could hope to continue to do more, like moving abroad checklist. So today's one is housing, and hopefully another one, I'll let you know. You'll see what the next one will be. But thank you guys so much for watching my channel. Thank you for staying this far. I hope you're able to get some knowledge from all the things that I said. I hope it was useful for you. And if there are other questions that you have about moving abroad, please put them in the comments, and I will try to either answer them personally or make a video if it's something that's very, very popular. Okay? But till the next time we see, I remain your girl, Adabeke. Continue to like this video, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And bye.